Good morning. This is your crypto day morning for today's date, coming in that of Wednesday, the 13th of February 2019. All bets, trades of the like. Well, that's within each's own risk and their own reward. Okay, Bitcoin day number 5 since the update that got above the 18 average of highs. It has remained such. It has met up with the newly barely, keyword barely, rising 18 average, and it's grinding its way lower, but just that, grinding lower to small amounts. This first level of support where current price action is in has definitely been a key support point, and it's just pierced just a little bit lower than such. Obvious downtrend lines making this resistance, and again, the last level in here. Not really breaking out, breaking down too much at some point. It's going to have to resolve this pattern either by breaking resistance and then most likely testing up around that 4100 level that I talked about for if I put on the Fibonacci lines that I put in a long time ago. I can see that 4100 has been spectacular for how it is played as resistance. 3700 has most certainly been a level of support and resistance, more so that of having a nice breakout here on resistance for one leg and then resisting it now on two separate occasions. This area has been decent support. It's had a good pierce below it. But as it plays out, unable, like this line is pretty key because it's meeting up now with the 18 average of lows. It's meeting up with this level of resistance or that of the must hold area. For if it doesn't, then most likely, if it's lucky, we're only going to go down to 3150. And if we're just a little bit more lucky after that, then maybe only about 27 or 28, or maybe somewhere in the 26s. And then there could be decent legs lower than that thereafter because it can go down to 2,000. 1,000, of course, is the major level of long-term previous resistance. Let's move on to Litecoin. We'll look first against its cross against the US dollar. And since its sub day, which was a break of a couple levels of key resistance, one at around 34.5, and then again where it's supporting now at about the 40 level. It hasn't quite been down to 40 yet, but it does look as if it's seeming like it's going to have a correctionary phase. It's going to move to this 18 average, maybe even pierce below to this previous 34, 35, or we'll say 34, yeah, change area as a possible level of support. Looking at this on the 4-hour time frame, I drew these lines in. I guess I really don't need them, but they have done relatively well as far as where the support and resistance is. Now, if I'm going to look to calculate Fibonacci for just this move, I've got a clear resistance or support rather about 29.5, and I got resistance at about 47. So let's take a look at where the key numbers should come into place. And using my calculator, I can see that the two major key numbers are going to be about 35.25 and 39 1/3. So therefore, I can just put some relatively close lines in on this now. I've also expanded out the time duration going back to the December lows, and I'm saying to myself, is that a better level to calculate? This is for its short-term move, so I think that these two levels have some key bearing towards it. And then you got more longer-term levels. So therefore, I have a hard time deciding which is the better calculation because within this and here, I really would be overall not too optimistic if it was to go down 61.8%. Because 61.8% from this high to this low, we'd be looking now close to somewhere around 27 and change. Let's just see from 22.65 to the same 47, what number comes up. That would be 61.8 down is 38.2 up. That'd be $30. So therefore, 30. Yeah, you know what? I'd still be a little bit, if not too excited, if it goes down to there. And I think that the 38.2% down move will be interesting in the 35.56 mark. which coincides with the 35 and a quarter. And of course, piercing below is very normal. So any type of move going down towards here, that's about as deep as I'd like to see it move, because it's already had multiple days now going down, especially if it was to go down further and at least pierce closer to 39, then any rallies thereafter that would be at the stage where it's had a good correctionary move. So what I'd like to see here is you have this little bit of support, maybe you have a little bit of a small amount of selling, break down below this level, and then just showing an example of something, do something like this, and then come back up to this area, maybe settle in for some way, and then make a move, something in that nature in here. But again, the market's always going to do what it's going to do, and that's basically that. Let's take a look at this against Bitcoin, and it pretty much has the exact same look on its 4-hour time frame, breaking down below this level of key support, and this one in a 100 ratio or 0.01 is most certainly a magnificently large level, to say the least, as it's going to be coinciding with the newly rising 18 average on the weekly term time frame. And therefore, if you just have one leg higher in your reversal and then you fail your 18 test, that's just not cool. And it's big failed breakout, fast move. We're going down to 0.005 ish, I would think, if that happens. But what I would like to see in here is maybe come back down to this 0.01 and then have a good distance from point A high to correctionary low, and then break that high. And now we're talking about seeing it go to 0.018, 0.017 area, and maybe even to the 50 to 1 ratio at 0.02. Let's switch it over to Ethereum against the dollar, something I haven't showed much at all, really. And from its decline, it's managed to establish this level of resistance twice hit after, I'm going to call this a successful correctionary move. It's just it was not successful in breaking above it, and most certainly was not successful in this correctionary move, thus retesting this previous level of support and a small rally. But it's still what I call support. Support is the stopping of the movement going down, and resistance is the stopping of the movement going up, which means from that point it either has to do the opposite or go sideways. And in this case, it first goes up, then goes sideways. And then you see in this in here, the more time you stay within this lower area of support like this, the more likely you are to take it out, and most likely even thereafter that resist it. And it only had a small leg, but now it managed to have from point A low, point B, that this is now, lows and highs are known after the fact, and this is now a low. Even if this is a top, it's a low, because it would be a higher low and a very bad lower high, and you'd be looking, of course, at least a test of that level, if, of course, it's that failed move. Because what we're seeing now is a correctionary move through time. I can see this level of resistance coinciding with the 18 lows at about 110, piercing above that, so a little above that, a very big level to see it hold. But it's developed a little bit of nice short-term resistance here at about 1.25, and getting above that, maybe between 140 to 156 as its next key level. Looking at this on a weekly term time frame, it remains in the downtrend from the 2018 highs of about 1300, and it's just sick on this volatility. We look at these lows from the end of 2016 at $6. $6 to over 1,000, down to $80, now up to 120. It's just wild volatility, but it's still in a downtrend. As long as price action can stay and hold in this area, then that's going to make the 18 flatten out, this neutralize the situation. And on the monthly chart, there's not much to show. Let's take a look at Ethereum against Bitcoin next. And I drew some lines in a long time ago, well before, like back in here probably at the top, because this is Fibonacci, 38.2% down, 61.8, and to say that it has been key levels would be an understatement. So after a double hit at the 61 level at the 0.03, now with the 34 handle, it has come up to this level of resistance a few days ago. This is the third sideways day, just cruising, hanging into this level. So this is a pretty strong setup. As I'm looking at amongst the daily term on the 4 hour from this resistance area hit, I like how it has successfully, after its first price move, corrected through time, lifting off at 11 a.m. yesterday, then piercing above the key level of resistance, pulling back, but still holding in there. 18 average of lows is rising at about the 333 handle. So I even say about the 3345 as we see a small just move going down. Holding this, getting above. It's got a decent setup right now as it's playing through. And we'll finish this off with Litecoin against Ethereum, then move on to No Limit Coin. And right now, with the price point at 0.34 means that Litecoin is worth 34% of the price of that of Ethereum. Litecoin has obviously overperformed it for this calendar year of 2019, as this is pretty much doubled from the 0.2 to the 0.4 handle. And overall, this is a much volatile move, but it's great for trading because this is always right now going to be a matter of division, in that what's the price of Litecoin against the dollar, Ethereum against the dollar, and divide the two, which is what we get in here. And thus the trades will always play out for such going through. But the setup should generally be exactly what we're seeing, and that is choppy up and down movement amongst these currencies. When you look at currencies like the yen, the euro, the Canadian dollar, the Australian dollar, and then you just put them up against each other, well, they're designed to really not go up or down too much in any type of consistent bull or bear market, but have a lot of choppy action. And this one is no exception. Right now, what it has done to try to get away from choppiness, it has established this level of resistance. It has had two good correctionary moves in here. Thus, a bull run would be finding support in here, then breaking out above this resistance. But I would be expecting that this is going to be making its way down below the 18 average within the next within the next 12, 14 weeks, because up a bit, down a bit. You have several periods above it, several below. A little bit above it, decent amount below, decent amount above. Tried to go below, didn't, and still. So it's had a good amount above since, of course, the end of the summer of last year. Let's take a look next at No Limit Coin. And we'll start off with the daily term time frame, as its price is 50360. Amongst the Satoshi, there's always 8 decimals. So, you know, if it's a 3-digit, there's 5 zeros before it. 4 digits, 4 digits beside it. 5 digits, 3 zeros beside it. That's common for me, because for me to get the price, I'll just simply on a calculator put 5 zeros, 36, multiply the price of Bitcoin at around 3,500. Then I get the price of No Limit Coin. But I can even put that coin up on here as well, calculated by the dollar. Beautiful choppy up and down action, which is great for buy low, sell high strategy. And I like how within this, after retesting this previous level of resistance, coming back down to the 18, holding where 18 to low is always the spot where I want to hold under break it, always. And now we see how it's starting to look to break out above it, making that higher low where you'd want it to, getting above this. Well, this thing came in, it was already down a lot when it started. This high at 790, it traded on its first day at around 1100. And I remember selling it above this number back in the day. And back in the day was about a year before here. Even August, yeah. So August of 2017, I was selling this at over 10,000, even 13,000 maybe. Definitely around 12,000 Satoshi. 4-hour term time frame on this. I like how it's holding this 18 in here just so far for a few periods. And you're going to get the low volatile moves in here. But when you see something like this, and you see moves like back and forth like this, there's an opportunity with a high around 339 and a low of 292 to trade for about 12-13% volatility, as you can sell up here, buy down there. And it can get wild at different times too. This is nothing compared to some of them in the past. If I can try to find some of them. I guess I can't. Okay, that's fine. Maybe I'm probably thinking about different coin, but not really. But yeah, moves like this could give some decent opportunities. So where do I use the NLC2? Well, I'm going to be needing to put in fantasy lineups in. This is the fantasy website. They have a crypto game, although I kind of put my wrong lineup in after winning it the week before, which means I put the exact same lineup in, which was which was Theta and Litecoin mainly. But that's that one. Contest. They have basketball. I go to tourney, and I play both of these games. I'm the Golden Bitcoin fan, although it's not written in that way. So 6 of 100 people have played the 100 game. 1 of 50 have played the 500 unit game. And these generally have an overlay every single day. Overlay means that they don't fill up, and the average price pool per participant is worth more than what the buy-in is. So oftentimes this 100 unit game could be worth 130, 140. There's a part of me that doesn't want to say this and does want to say this on the channel. I don't want to say it because I want these numbers to have 60, 70 people out of 100 and not 100. But I also want to see this get to 100, have people come in, and the coin goes up in price, and the game sizes would most likely go higher than that. So not many people on this, and if anyone is a fantasy fan and a sports fan, this is another way of accumulating these coins, and I find that very fun. So in here, I would enter a lineup, and I'm going to log in. And I guess I had to re-log in. So therefore, let's put in. So I create a team, and there we have it. So my first team are definitely going to have Dennis Smith Jr. That's like a no-brainer. Where's Dennis Smith? I don't want him too expensive. Let's go point guard first. So Dennis Smith Jr. 6,300, a little expensive, but I still think he's worth playing tonight. Center, good play tonight. As we got Clint Capella out, but I've already heard that Cousins is out tonight. It says active and it says 0. His backup is cheap in price. Where is his backup? Is he a power forward? Bam, Aaron, Nakeem Joa. Nakeem Joa's doing pretty good lately. 23 yesterday for a low cost. Pretty good. Mitchell Robinson's been someone that I've been liking. We've been consistently getting points for a low cost as well. Still getting high 20s for a cost of 41. And I guess it's power forward. Where do we have it? I'm looking for Kevin Looney. That's who I'm looking for, is Kevin Looney. Why do I not see Kevin Looney? He will be the guy most likely getting 30 points tonight. And I think I want to play him. Kevin Looney is a small forward? They changed his position. Really? Well, we'll see. Oh. I'm going to look into this, but he's out for today's game. Anyway, that's one place to use the coins. As far as poker is concerned, there are games available. We have, when you want to play, deposit NLC2, there's an address. And you can withdraw in here as well. I go by the name Derek Crypto. On cash games, we have a game here. So I always like to have 8,000 in here, so I'm up 1171 since my last withdrawal. And I see that there's a 2-4 game. 3 people out of 9. We'll get to that in a second. Maybe play a couple of hands. Let's look if there's any tournaments available.
There's a free roll late registration going on right now. Always a game at 1400 hours, but is today 500 buy-in? That's like the equivalency of like $6. I'll be playing this today. If you want to play, I'll be playing this tournament today. I like this game. So we come in, what's the blind levels? Every 8 minutes. Is this rebuy add-on? So rebuy, we have 2,000 starting stack. So rebuy 2,000 for the same price. Add-on, 3,000. So you're getting bonus chips. Now, one way I've usually played rebuys and add-ons, and this might be the same way, is I see that it's available for 56 minutes, the rebuy. And late registration is pretty much going to be the same. So if this thing starts at 2 p.m., I'm probably going to look into playing this around 2:52 p.m. I'll register in for this game. And then just get my buy, and then I'll get my add-on there after it and start from there. I'm not a too big fan of playing the early stages of the tournaments, but I realize you can accumulate a good amount of chips that way. So in this cash game, playing the 2-4 game, we'll see what happens. I can see there's only 2 people playing Obite MasterCard. I've played both of them before. So I can just get into sitting here. I've set it up so that it automatically buys me in for 200 big blinds. And I made a mistake right off the bat. And that is I sat to the left of MasterCard, where I should be sitting to the right. Let's put the auto blind in. Play maybe a few hands, because I like to have position. Top pair, weak kicker. I got a lot of chips. I don't want to play for too much. I don't want to have an opportunity where I'm in for a big pot. I really don't want to raise him, but I definitely got to be playing this hand. So I'm going to put a call in. Did not hit 2 pair. My kicker really plays, which sucks. King 6 has me beat. I was planning on value betting, but now I'm just going to let him win with his ace and bet, let him bluff off and I win. Or I'll take the check down win. Probably a mistake. And as far as the sliders on here, you can see this is where the call button, probably a bad call. Does he got his ace? Yes. So be it. Bad play by me on that spot. Now the main play on here is battle versus the blinds. As you put a min raise in, I'm betting 6 to win 6. That's a losing bet. I will try to bet this turn if he checks, which he does. So we'll put in, say, a 10 to win 16. So I'm getting plus 160 on this bet. That is a loser. There were straight draws available, flush draws available. They miss. So I'm going to put a 20 unit bet to win 36. I've already lost 3 in a row. Is this 4? No, it's a win. It's a win. And then it automatically bought me up to 800 because of where I was. So on the button, I'm never going to call. I'm always going to either fold or raise. I take down the pot, just that simple. If you want 100 NLC2, I'm going to be giving up to 5 of them today. Just put some sort of comment on why, whatever, just something else other than your address. And I'll send them away for today. Now, also what I want to talk about in this game is when you get to know people, things of different bet sizes, especially on the big game, as far as, and I mean big game, not, doesn't matter if you're playing for $2 or 2,000 or in between. Big game means as many big blinds as you can. Is try to adjust your bet sizes. So pre-flop, what I'm looking to be doing here is folding the odd horrible hand like in here. But I'm also looking to do bets 2x raises, 2.5 times, 3 times, 3.5 times, 5 times, 8 times, 12 times. I want to be known for having major raise capabilities of big or low numbers. And that's really to set it up for the fact of people not having a good read of what they are. So I'm going to do a 3 big blind here. So I've done min, 2.5x, and 3x on him. And I want to make it so that on the flop, when I have or turn, or just later on, when I have situations where I need to bet big or small, it makes it much, much easier to do it. So I'm going to sit out now. I got a small win on this game.
And again, the offer for if you want to play some fantasy, then sign up to the fantasy site. I can send you 100. You will be in. Maybe you can play the 100 game tonight, or whichever you want to do with that. Or on the poker, you can. There's some smaller games you can play in. Different games for that. There's tournaments you can play for. There's all the free rolls on there as well. But what I like about the No Limit coin, we have what I consider as like a stock. It's a company, and it's one in a business that I like, which is you may not believe me, but I like gambling actually, and I'm sarcastic when they say it. Of course, that's the case, but well, that's what they do. I just showed you some poker, instant transfers. Okay, so as far as transfers are concerned, I have done 3 in the past few days. It took a decent amount of time for a poker transfer to get to me, a little over 24 hours, but it came through. I transferred out of my I transferred out of both days, yesterday and today. The maximum withdrawal. I'm not a big fan of this. On the fantasy site is 10,000 coins. So I withdrew 10,000 yesterday, 10,000 today. It took about an hour and a half today. And they manually track them to make sure everything's fine, and I'm fine with that. Ultra low transaction fees. Yes, wallet costs are 0.0001 and zero point 0.1 on Bittrex. And you don't pay anything when you transfer them out of or withdraw out of the those two sites. No rake platform on poker, so the poker I was showing you had absolutely no rake whatsoever. Worldwide fantasy sports platform, as we can see, I showed a little bit of that. Scrolling down, just a little bit of things on their games, a little bit. Johnny Chan and Joe Theismann are ambassadors amongst the site. Joe Theismann, former quarterback of the Washington Redskins, and Johnny Chan winning a World Series of Poker main event many a years before it was even popular. He has been a poker ambassador for quite some time. And No Limit Coin did give away a trip to the World Series of Poker last year. And that's a little costly. So this is a company that I think on their roadmap, anyway, they're going a few things as far as their business, is they're doing what I remember learning in a marketing class in high school. Is oftentimes when you start a business, you're forced to be taking losses early on. And in this case, with the overlay and the games and the advertising that they're doing, they're almost accepting that to try to build their company. They have the white paper. I don't know how to read them, but they're available. You can download it. Here's again part of that fantasy sports that I was showing you. It's down buying with Visa and MasterCard. You can buy on the site via cryptocurrencies. So the ways you can buy this coin is via that of it exchanged mainly through Bittrex. But if you want to buy via Bitcoin or Litecoin as well, then what you can do is you can go to a section that let me just try it again. I'm not used to buy NLC2. So in here, there's more currencies you can buy it with. Geez, there was only about 3 or 4. So basically, you would pick the currency you want to use, how many you want to buy, and purchase. You are paying a 10% fee, but it is one way of buying the coin. And of course, you can buy it on Bittrex and deposit it and transfer it via the blockchain. You can also buy it on BTC. I don't trade there. You can buy it on Crypto Bridge. I don't trade there. Buy it on Coin Exchange. I do trade there, and it's more expensive to buy there. Nova, I don't trade, and Yobit, I don't trade either. They have wallets. I do have the Windows wallet myself. And then we have more for the team. I've heard a lot about Raphael as a very passionate gentleman upon this business who really wants to make it work. But they have the entire team available for view on here, which with the exception of this person here, everyone's face is shown on the screen. So that is the NLC2. Again, if you want 100 coins, just some sort of thank you message, some sort of whatever, any random whatever message, and I'll send out up to 5. I don't get many people watching the video, so I don't even think it's going to be that. But if you want to sell it on the market, or you want to try to hold it just to have, you want to play one of the games, which is what I'm hoping it's used for, that you're using it to either play fantasy sports or that of poker. Thank you for tuning in, and have yourself a great day. Bye bye.